It's 2025, and you have either told yourself or thought to yourself that this year is going to be the year you're going all in on content, whether it's for your brand, your business, YouTube, what have you. We're gonna be breaking down the content to cash system that I have used in my business that has allowed me to make over 7 figures in revenue in less than a year. And I promise you, if you do what I say in this episode, your year from today, looking back, is gonna be completely different, because when your content gets better, your life gets better. Welcome to the department. It's Omar and I have with me Art Mosqueda, AKA art.mp4.
Why do you say that?
We were listening to a song and somebody's artist name was their name.mp3, and I thought that was the tightest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's cool. It's this like ambient music artist that I love. But
like
art.mp4, aka the Shredder.
The Shredder. Cool. And I always want to say Happy New Year. I hope you had great Merry Christmas, had a great New Year celebration. It's the year to finally build that personal brand. It's the year to finally show up consistently online. And we're going to make this so simple and tell you exactly what you need to do to really level up your brand and business. Whether you're starting out or you're looking to scale, this is for you. What are your thoughts going into this year based on what the year we just had? And I want to break down the year we just had, looking back on some numbers.
Based off of the year we just had, 2025, I think is going to be bigger. And I would say we're going to 5X whatever we did in 2024.
Let's go. I receive that in Jesus' name.
Like genuinely.
How has your life, even though you're, I get Omar Takori is the face of the brand, but because we went all in on content last year for the business, how has that affected your life?
In what aspects? Because I think
in every aspect. Okay. Let's just speak to any aspect. Because I want people to know is to know what they're losing out on by not doing this.
I think in a mindset aspect, my mindset's way better when it comes to money, business, entrepreneurship, maybe like, limiting beliefs, all like that stuff. I think like you, and you've been on this journey, and I wouldn't have thought like you or thought like this if I hadn't done what we're doing with you.
Yeah, but just how everything has like lifted. Like you have a new car.
Skill set. I mean, I got way better.
Yeah.
Photo, video,
but also
maybe even packaging stuff sometimes.
Even in just these podcasts, you've been recognized.
Sure. Like even on a personal standpoint, people come up to me and say, "Dude, you're the guy that's on Omar's podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess. Yeah."
Yeah, which is crazy that you just being in the few, which the ones that we do, they just pop off for whatever it's worth. But car level up, money level up, known level up, and you're literally the co-host and the video guy or shredder behind the brand. And just to know that, I just wanted, what do you call it, secondhand smoke? Like if I smoked around you, which I don't, I guess unless we do cigars, but if because I grew up smoking parents, and if they smoke, I get the secondhand,
right?
But I just want to stress the importance of the power of video. I looked at an image yesterday. We just hit 100,000 subscribers, literally less than 24 hours ago. Shout out to you
yesterday,
for all your help.
Also, first official podcast of 2025.
First official podcast, and I looked at an image of a stadium that had 100,000 people in it, and it just blows me away. And so, maybe you guys know this, maybe you don't know this, but you never know the impact you can truly make in other people's lives, because that's number one. Number two is the result of that. The result of helping people in their lives is simply a result of your life getting better as well. And there's a level of fulfillment there. There's a level of ROI, and it doesn't mean just return on investment financially. Of course, that's the case, and I want that to happen for you, but it's also return on your efforts. Like, the time spent on brand, which I guess we could have done some more time, but
it is crazy to think that the impact that you've had is immeasurable.
Right. Like it's kind of hard to put your finger on.
Yeah. We'll never be able to really know.
So before I break down what you need to be doing on a monthly basis, a weekly basis, and a daily basis, I want to let you know kind of the last couple years, how it's kind of gone. Because if I could do it, you can do it. And if it's happened for me, it can happen for you. So in 2023, really quickly, we had 14 uploads to our YouTube channel, meaning that was when we launched the department. We had 14 episodes through the fall and through December. I did at that in 2023, I was creating content for a channel called Think Media. I did 53 uploads there. I uploaded 250 reels to my Instagram, and I did 14 audio podcasts. So that was 2023, and on give or take, I hit about 17,500,000 views. And those Think Media videos got a ton of views, and they still do today. But I wanted to draw a line because I'm no longer creating content for them. And 2024 was 100% pretty much just the department, just Omar Altakori's personal brand. And so 2024, we did 39 uploads to my YouTube channel, meaning with our goal of being one a week, that means we kind of just fell shy a little bit, right? If there's 52 weeks in a year, there's 13 uploads we didn't do, which the goal is weekly, but it's okay. So with 39 uploads to our YouTube channel, and this is podcast content, 2.3 plus million views on 45, 50 minute long episodes, powerful. Uploaded around 198 reels to Instagram. And that got around 6.5 million views. And this is just, these are actually conservative numbers because I actually round down, and I also didn't count feed posts and things like that. 39 audio podcast uploads, and we got 87,800 downloads. And then we sent over 700 plus emails to our email list. Now, that may seem like a lot because that equates to right around 9 million views, not counting emails and all that stuff and all these other things. But more than the views, I want you to, oh yeah, by the way, I have to say this. We accomplished this part-time, without a doubt.
100.
Part-time, 7-figure business. And it's because content was the priority. If you want your life to get easier and you want to make more money, invest in content creation. And I say it this way, content creation is wealth creation. This is why our lives have gotten better. I mean, and then the lives of the people around me, my clients, my students, the people who've taken the challenge, my family, my community, it's affected it in a positive light. So I just want you to know what you're missing out on if you make another year go by. Okay. So do you have any other thoughts?
No, just for 2024 though, estimated revenue total was $53,405.
And that's just from YouTube.
That's just from YouTube, and that's the year of 2024.
So yeah, for the 2.3 million views we got on YouTube, Google paid us to upload content of over $50,000.
Yep.
And that's powerful because Google is paying my business to go find customers. Think about it.
Yeah. And your favorite stat though, just for the year of 24, 497,235 watch time hours.
Yeah, which I think is like 60 plus years. And that's not counting the audio podcasts.
Right.
Because those people probably listened for majority of the podcasts.
I mean, it blew us away. 87,000 downloads on the audio podcast.
Yeah, so good. Hey, department fam, wanted to take a brief break from this conversation. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is that, did you know that 75% of the people that watch this podcast on YouTube actually aren't subscribed, which is a high chance that you're not subscribed. So number one, I want to say thank you for listening or watching the podcast. And number two, if you can hit that subscribe button, that would be amazing. The second thing is, if you are an entrepreneur, content creator, or somebody looking to make money online, I want to encourage you to come to this online event called the Content to Cash Challenge. This is a special 5-day event that's going to give you access to the system I use in my business to make multiple 6 figures with my content. If you've been desiring to either get your business and brand more exposure, grow a YouTube channel, whatever it is when it comes to video, I would encourage you to jump into the Content to Cash Challenge. We'll be sure to post the link to the challenge down in the show notes or the description. And I want to encourage you to jump into the VIP experience. This will give you access to a 1-hour Q&A call every day of the challenge. This will guarantee myself to answer a personalized question you may have. So I'll see you on the Content to Cash Challenge. Now let's jump back into the conversation. So with that being said, here is your content game plan that I would love to prescribe you for this year. And I'm telling you, just, I know it's not going to be easy, but it is this simple. Okay. So if you want my help in any capacity, at least go for this and then come tell me that things aren't working. So let's go. Let's start with, what should you do on a monthly basis when it comes to your content and building your personal brand? The first thing you should be doing is uploading 4 videos a month to YouTube. So that's a video a week. Now, when it comes to uploading a video on YouTube, I don't want to go too deep because we just a couple weeks ago released an episode, full breakdown on a YouTube strategy that is so beneficial. We'll put that in the description, and I would encourage you to bookmark it or watch later. But these YouTube videos, I don't want to make you overthink them, but really, these are very low edited, high value videos. And when you upload a long form video to YouTube, make sure that it's more than 8 minutes. Don't upload a video that is 7 minutes and 59 seconds. Upload a 8-minute or more video. Now, the longer the video, the better. But you don't want to repeat yourself. But upload at least once a week on YouTube. That's going to give you 4 uploads to YouTube a month. 4 times 12 is 48. So you should upload in 2025 48 YouTube videos. Trust me. You do this, your life will change. Now, in regards to the kinds of videos, now maybe you want to do more talking head style. You can do that. I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you why talking head or podcast style is my favorite. But you could totally go and vlog. You can totally do live streams. You could totally do things that require more, supplemental footage or B-roll, or maybe you're using visual elements and things like that, more fast-paced editing or something. You could do all that stuff. But here's why I say upload very simple videos that have very minimal editing, is because I want you to actually export the audio of your YouTube videos and then upload that to an audio podcast platform. So we use Red Circle. We upload an audio file from these YouTube videos, and it goes to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and it's syndicating. Now, I'm not doing any more work after shooting the video. Art's taking an additional 3 minutes to export audio.
Yep.
And then it just, now we're platform agnostic. Is that how you would call it? We're just on other platforms. You can consume it in different ways. I would say those 87 or 88,000 downloads on podcasts, those are very powerful downloads because the intimacy that is created while listening to my voice or listening to my guest's voice or listening to Art's voice and doing something in your life, I'm doing life with you with audio podcasting. Now I understand with YouTube, some of you guys consume YouTube podcasts. You throw it on a TV, maybe you listen to YouTube podcasts on your your headphones or in your car. I listen to podcasts on YouTube. I also have a few podcasts I follow on Apple Podcasts, but people are consuming the podcast audibly. Now, most people are already uploading YouTube videos, and you can just export the audio, or convert your video into an MP3 and upload it to an audio podcast. So now that's giving you 4 uploads to YouTube a month and 4 audio podcasts a month. And I'm going to talk about a little bit in a little bit how you can even add more to the audio podcast and make it very simple. Any other thoughts to that, Art?
No, that's great.
Yeah, just going through it. So these are what's to do, right? This is your content game plan for every month. The next is Instagram. I still believe Instagram is the best place to connect with an audience. So although YouTube is probably one of the best places to build trust with an audience, I believe Instagram is the best place to connect with an audience. And so every month, I want you to post 25 to 30 Instagram feed posts a month. So what does that mean? A feed post is either a reel, which is like a short video. You can actually post long videos. We've been testing 3, 5, 6 minute videos on Instagram, and they've been doing really well if they're really well packaged and high content value. Or you can upload images as carousels. Carousels are doing really well, and really you can upload a reel and then 2 weeks later upload the carousel version of that reel. And as far as like designing carousels, you can use things like Canva to turn a reel into a carousel. Use ChatGPT to say, break down this reel into 5 steps, and then use that copy or the text to then create that carousel on Canva or what have you. So that's 25 feed posts. And we're gonna go monthly, weekly, and daily. So the picture is very clear. Okay. The next you're gonna do is upload at least 60 times on Instagram stories. And maybe the word isn't upload. Maybe the word is post. Post at least 60 times on Instagram stories. This could be
Omar,
sharing
dude,
stories.
That seems like so many. 60?
Well, if you divide that by 30, that's just 2 a day.
Nice.
Take out the weekends, 3 to 5 a day.
Because I know for most people at first thought that could be like a lot, 60.
Yeah. But I'm gonna show you how this all makes sense and is so simple. Okay. And then I want to encourage you to send anywhere between, and this is, your discretion. As far as emails go, even if you don't have an email list, send it to your mom, send it to your friends, start an email list, start capturing emails, start giving something free away to get emails. But I would love for you to send 12 emails a month minimum. Just send 12 emails a month. Omar, what do I talk about? I will let you know what you can talk about in those emails. So those are the monthly outputs. Here's the problem with most people's attempt on YouTube social media is they focus so much more on the outcome and they don't focus enough on the outputs. Here's what you can control. You can control the outputs you do on a monthly, daily, or weekly basis, but you can't control the outcome. Now, if we just look back on certain, people, let me be the example, people who have committed to a consistent output of great content, their outcomes have been revolutionary, life-changing. Okay, so that's the monthly outputs. What would you encourage people with as far as the way to approach a month? Hey, question for you. Are you somebody who is looking to start creating content, or maybe you currently create content, but all the gear and the tech just overwhelms you? If so, I wanted to let you know about our sponsor for this podcast, Ulanzi. Whether you're creating content with your smartphone, a camera, or just trying to take your Zoom calls to the next level, Ulanzi has everything you need to make your setup look and sound professional. I've been using their gear myself, and honestly, it's been a complete game changer for my content. You can check them out at ulanzi.com/Omar, and we've got some amazing picks for you. And also, if you look at the description below, we have a special promo code that will give you 12% off your entire order. Big thanks to Ulanzi for sponsoring this episode and helping us create.
The way to approach a month, I would say it's probably most helpful to plan those months out beforehand instead of going into the month trying to figure out what it is you're doing.
Which I love that you brought that up. Like, I get video ideas all day, every day.
Yeah.
So like they do, like, I mean, I'm doing a level of preparation. I'm always preparing. I'm always pondering. I'm always processing. And whether that's in the shower, whether that's I'm laying bed at night, or I'm just hanging out with you, or whatever, we're golfing. Like these ideas come. The important thing is to just jot those ideas down.
Right.
And then yeah, how do those ideas find a place? Because you're not going to do everything that comes to mind, but some other things more than others, you feel inspired. I think the greatest type of content to create is conviction-based content. And that's because you're speaking from such a deep place of enthusiasm and, real life experience that the way you deliver it is going to come off strong. And sales and persuasion is simply a transference of enthusiasm. And so I'm so enthusiastic about this because we did it and it worked.
Sure.
And so I would just encourage you, conviction-based content, make content while it's fresh in your spirit, and that window is going to close. You're going to feel hot about it. And if you don't do anything with it, if you don't sit down and map it out, if you don't create the outline, if you don't create the video, if you don't share it on your story, it will shrink.
Right. And people will feel that.
And people will feel that. I shared on my stories, I did like a 4 or 5 minute rant, the last day of the year about how I don't do goals and how I just live by principle.
Which I thought was really good, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. But people who are very goal oriented, they feel away. But other people, they felt freed. They just felt freed from like, oh my goodness, I don't need to set goals. No, you don't need to set goals, but like, what are the things that you'll do daily to make yourself better and to get you where you need to go? Because goals are very outcome focused. And so if you are going to create goals, make the goal output goals. Don't make them outcome goals. So I'm saying what I'm giving you in this conversation is I'm giving you output goals. 4 videos on YouTube a month, 4 audio podcasts a month. These are minimum numbers, by the way. Feel free to upload more. 25, 60, 12 emails, 60 stories, 25 feed posts. So this is monthly. Let's go into weekly outputs. Just to break it down, and we'll go even more. I'll break down the actual uploads themselves. So on a weekly basis, you're going to upload 1 long form video to YouTube. Now that long form video, like I mentioned before, should be over 8 minutes long. It could be 90 minutes long. Don't undermine the videos that you're uploading themselves. You can do slide deck presentations, you can do conversations, you can do talking head, right? But I would really highly encourage you. The biggest mistake, let me just leave it this. The biggest mistake creators make on YouTube is not sponsoring their own videos. The biggest mistake podcasters make with their podcasts are not sponsoring their own podcasts. If you have a business, if you have something you'd like to give away, if you have a next step for your viewers or listeners, sponsor your YouTube channel. It's crazy because you didn't know that you were going to click on this video, listen to this podcast, and leave it already knowing how to monetize your YouTube channel. Don't wait for YouTube or Google to monetize you. Start today and monetize your YouTube channel by sponsoring your own content.
It's wild how powerful that is, though. So I was struggling with taxes and I needed to know what to do. And I came across this lady that was posting long form, just raw long form on what to do, what like this breakdown.
Good.
And it was great information. But in my head, what happened instantly was I just want her help because she made this video. I want her to help me. I don't want to go find someone.
100.
And she did have a link in her bio, but it was her Discord. And it wasn't like a, talk to me or, here's my service. And yeah, it's just powerful that's where my mind went is I just wanted her help.
And it's hard to actually articulate the power of somebody sitting down and watching you on YouTube because you create this level of trust.
Right.
You create this level of connection because I'm not edited. Like this is me.
But also her information was good.
Yeah.
So like she won me over.
She served you
with the click and her title and her thumbnail.
Yep.
And she gained my trust throughout the video, so much so that I wanted to pay her for her service.
Right.
And I technically couldn't.
So, but the way she sponsored it was a community.
Sure.
And what she's doing is she'll then monetize that community, whether that's like file your taxes or tax plan.
What I'm saying is, there is something powerful about like you just having a link. Here's my service, or here's a book a call.
Yep.
Talk to me.
Yeah. I think long are the days that you're making pennies on YouTube because most people either wait for the brand deal, which you're creating to work up to that place, which is beautiful. We just signed a brand deal and I'm super pumped about it. You're waiting for Google to sponsor or to, monetize your YouTube channel, which is it's going to pay you pennies for views, which is cool once you get a lot of them, but in the time being, it's not worth it. And number 3, like trying to do like affiliate marketing, which means you link up other people's stuff, which a lot of times it's like, gear, maybe it's, skincare stuff, whatever niche you might be in. If you affiliate somebody else's stuff, it's good, but think about that affiliate. Like if it's just going to be a couple bucks, like when I was making content at Think, for each camera sold, it was like $40 to $80.
Sure.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been really powerful to help people with the camera. And that could be an offer that's like either a community monthly
instead of just selling them the camera.
Instead of just selling the camera. Now, when you're doing volume numbers like I was doing there, it does add up and it's awesome.
It was fire.
But I'm saying now, like you can have low videos or you can have a low amount of videos uploaded a small number of subscribers and a small number of views. And if it's all aligned, people will want to work with you.
Yeah, dude, I can only imagine this is why you go so hard in real estate and real estate agents, because I can imagine if I want to search for a house and I'm just trying to search for the area and there's a real estate agent in my city that's posting videos on real estate and how to get a home, I'm just going to want to work with that person.
Yeah. Because it's communicating that, like, if you're willing to put out great videos,
you know what you're doing.
You either know what you're doing, even if you don't, it's perception.
Right.
You create a perception that you know what you're doing.
Sure.
And that comes off in your tone. It comes off in the way you deliver. You create a perception that you know what you're doing. And it also, you create a perception that this is what you do. That there is, like, I'm not side hustling this, but you could be. But again, back to perception. If you're side hustling something you're really proficient at, then, like, people are going to want to work with you. And this is why I do err toward very minimally edited videos, because imagine the person watching your content. They are people that could potentially be your customers. And I have found that more sophisticated buyers are more open to spending time on content. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I mean, they just have more time, and for whatever it's worth, you know, that's why podcast revolution's gone crazy, because everyone's trying to level up. And so anyway, so that's weekly output. We got one long form, uploaded to YouTube. And then as far as audio podcasts go, you have that given episode from the YouTube video, export the audio, and you have that given audio podcast, just the exact same thing you uploaded to YouTube. Obviously, if there's a visual element in your YouTube video that's required to understand what you're saying, it won't work that well. But if you're doing talking head, information-based content, then upload it to a podcast platform. But here's why you can probably do an additional 2 to 3 audio podcasts a week. You don't have to have full-blown podcast episodes. You can upload Monday Minutes, Wisdom Wednesdays, 5-Minute Fridays, Skill Saturdays,
Tuesday Talks,
like where you upload a more streamlined version of, it's a way of, I think it as a verbal diary. Hey, I just wanted to share this thought with you, or
share this nugget that I discovered that can help you.
Oh my goodness, like I mean, I'd love to leverage that this year. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to affect the other. Maybe we just need to package it differently so people know what the expectation of clicking is there. Like if they're seeing if they're seeing 5-Minute Friday, it obviously speaks for itself. But like you can literally use your phone, record the audio, have your notes if you need them, like an outline, but just upload that 5 minutes. Somebody who's been on the podcast, Eileen, dude, her podcasts are usually 10 minutes long or less. And they're actually just clipped up from other things like Zoom calls. Like sometimes like she'll upload like somebody's breakthrough from a Zoom call, and then you get to hear it, So.
But I could imagine because they're 10 minutes, they're probably a little more rich and easier to get information from.
Sure.
Because if you're trying to get an answer for something and Shalene has a 10-minute audio clip and then like an hour, I'm probably going to lean towards the 10-minute, depending on my situation.
I would say just lead with the benefit as the title, right? So it's
sure.
The clearer the benefit for that short form kind of podcast or audio podcast. But we're talking about a content game plan. We're talking about you need to become a content creator, not an influencer. You need to become a content creator, somebody who thinks, writes, says that, like, you create, and the power in doing this is the one-to-many approach. You know that when you do this, when you step into content in general, whether you're an entrepreneur, stay-at-home mom, a pastor, a business leader, whatever, that when you become a content creator, you become a one-to-many, which I can't think of a better way to utilize your time than to inspire, impact, and influence people from one action. I'm going to upload this podcast.
Content.
Everything's content.
Yeah.
I'm going to upload this one podcast, and then however many people are going to watch it. It could be 5 people. It could be 15 people. It could be 100,000 people. it's just know that like, if you feel like creating content is so time consuming, start focusing your mind on the one-to-many aspect of content creation, where you can upload a video on YouTube and get hundreds of thousands of views, but all you did was create that one video. Like, that is well worth your time.
Yeah, something we can take advantage of or start doing is when you go into a segment in your podcast on certain episodes, like Christo, he did five things to what was it in that episode?
When he broke down like 5 ways to come up with a training or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that was that was probably a 5-6 minute segment. Either you clip that up itself and that's its own audio drop that is 6 minutes, or you actually record a new audio that is expanding on that thought and just talking about it. Like, you know, I just recently had Christo on and he talked about this, and then you're just summarizing it or really adding your thoughts to it.
It's good.
Same thing with like the David Shands one where he broke down his podcast formula.
So good. My goodness. If you didn't catch that, let me try to reverse engineer. So with these hour-long podcasts, 90-minute podcasts, oftentimes in them, there are these 5 to 12-minute breakdowns of something. Mm-hmm. What Art is saying is you can leverage those breakdowns for those audio podcasts.
For those shorter ones.
Which is so good. And I know other people, this isn't revolutionary news, by the way. There's like, people are doing this.
Yeah.
But it just, the idea, and the reason why I'm stressing on this YouTube drop is because everything comes from this YouTube drop. Everything. So like the real main focus you have here is to just get that long form video uploaded to YouTube, because it influences your consistency on every other platform.
Wait, but just answer this real quick. What is everything? Because I could see someone asking themselves that, like, what can come from you, like, a YouTube upload?
Yeah. So let me really quickly, I'll go through this and then I'll answer that question.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about weekly outputs. We said 1 long form video uploaded to YouTube, 1 to 3 audio podcasts, 4 to 6 Instagram feed posts, 20 Instagram stories. This is a week. And then around, 2 to 5 emails sent out. Now, where does all this stinking content come from? Mm. It comes from the long form video on YouTube. You're going to take the audio, upload it to audio podcasts. You're going to clip up your YouTube channel videos and upload those as reels.
Okay.
So if you go on my Instagram, 90% of my Instagram are repurposed clips from my long form YouTube video. I've been able to grow over 100,000 followers on Instagram, not making Instagram videos, but repurposing my long form videos into feed posts. So that's where you're going to get those 4 to 6 carousels. So like, speaking to like, let's just take that Christo example. Mm-hmm. Christo broke down, here's how I come up with a brand new, talk. Essentially, he's the 5 things I do to come up with a brand new talk. And he broke that down. Now, that could be cut that out. It could be a reel.
Yep.
Cut that out. It could be a longer video uploaded to Instagram. Take those 5 things and create a 6-image carousel. Mm-hmm. How to come up with a state-of-the-art talk or something like that. I mean, it's super long. And then it's first thing, consolidate things down to 5. Next thing, use alliteration, whatever he mentioned. But this is the whole art form of like, I'm not creating the content to post. It's already been created.
Yeah, it's just repurposing.
It's just repurposing.
It can turn into an email.
Exactly. And then
that could even turn into a lead magnet, technically.
Okay. I mean, now you're, bro, now you're making this too easy. No, you're right.
Yeah.
So that's feed, like, so we're just taking it from the main YouTube video and then we're turning that into more content. So, but then the Instagram stories, like when I say post 3 to 5 times or 20 times on Instagram stories, I'm saying talk about your posting. Like, don't just share that you posted on YouTube, talk about it. Hey, so this week's YouTube drop, I had Art with me and we broke down the content game plan for 2025. If you're in business, if you're looking to build your personal brand, I would encourage you to, this is the ultimate guide. Everything you need to know is in one consumption.
Mhm.
It's all there for you. Like, that's just me talking about it. I also think resharing stuff on Instagram stories allows you to post more on stories.
Yeah, I mean, those
Like,
count.
Yeah, those count. When you post memes, by the way, the studies have shown when you post memes, it actually creates more of a connection and bond with your audience because you're sharing your way of humor. And I personally have a dry sense of humor. And so anytime I would share memes, all it's doing is not only, hopefully making somebody laugh, but it's also making somebody feel a little bit closer to me because it's like, oh, we both think that's funny. And when two people think one thing is funny, you're like friends for life,
But yesterday you posted a story talking about how you're going to go live because we're about to hit, 100K.
Yeah.
And then I posted a slow-mo clip of you popping the confetti and you reposted that as your own story. And then you reposted your own reel. It just, it's fairly easy for stories.
Right. But I would say stories is like the one place you can just be raw if you wanted to just share something, but it shouldn't take any overthinking because it's gonna, if you didn't know this, Instagram stories, it goes away in 24 hours. And I still love Instagram, and I'll always say Instagram over LinkedIn, over TikTok, over whatever platform. I'll still, I love Instagram because the DMs is the most powerful place things can happen. It's pretty much email connected to social media. Maybe you don't fully own it, but all that to say, don't overthink it. Don't get in your own way of just posting on stories daily. Then the next thing is just to send those emails. So what are your emails? I'm going to let you know. We sent over 700 emails last year. And those emails, they came from my Instagram posts. My Instagram posts came from my YouTube videos. So I actually still prioritize posting myself on Instagram because I write down the caption and I write down a true, involved, heartfelt caption on everything I post. And sometimes it takes me 30 minutes to post something, but that's because I know that my assistant is going to take this post and turn it into an email and send a value-based email because the content I'm posting on Instagram is valuable. So still, there is no coming up with the email. The email is already there. There is no coming up with the Instagram post because the content was already there. So I hope now you're starting to see the vision and the possibility of how you can do this. You might need some help, but you might be able to do this yourself. There's AI and
looking back now, 700 emails is wildly overwhelming. Like if I was starting and I wanted to do what you're teaching right now, bro, I don't want 700 emails, Omar. No, bro, I don't got time for that. But when you think about it, don't think about it, in the big sense. It's just, post your content, turn it into an email, and it's day by day, and then it just accumulates.
Right.
Like 700 emails is insane.
And you can backtrack too, right? Like let's just say even if you work a part-time job, full-time job, maybe you're bootstrapping your business, maybe you're like super high level in business. Like all it should take is a couple hours to look back on last week's reels, line them all up, set them to release the following week. Like
just schedule them out.
Just sit down. Like somebody needs to just sit down and just do that. And it is as simple as copy pasting, but if you want it to be more rich in nature,
And I want to say to the people who think that maybe they're just too busy or they don't have time, I want to say out of 700 of those emails, you probably sent like 400 yourself.
Yeah.
And the rest were like done by, your assistant.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
For someone as busy as you were still able to do it.
And here's the conviction again. My conviction is the content is coming from me. So in all honesty, there's no other better person that can say the thing than me. Now, after I passed down that task to Mariella at the time, the open rates stay the same.
It's great.
So I don't know the read rates, but the open rates, they were still at 30, 40%, which I heard is really good for emails. By the way, if you're on the email newsletter or if you get emails from me, we swapped platforms. And I would encourage you to check your spam because it's been getting kind of
check spam, check promotion, check social in the Gmail.
And we're just sending out value-based emails. I don't sell hard on emails, and I'll break down what you should put in an email after I get through the daily outputs. So we went monthly, we went weekly, and the daily outputs. Here's how it looks like every day. Every day, you should post on about 3 to 5 times on Instagram stories. Like, don't overthink it. Even if you hand your phone to somebody else and have them film you do something, put a cool song to it and just put in caption or with text what you're doing. It's great. Okay? These are daily outputs. The next is you're going to do an Instagram reel or carousel or what we like to call a feed post, an Instagram feed post. You're going to do that daily. Let's just say Monday through Friday, right? And then you're going to send out an email. You can send out an email daily, or you can do every other day, right? I don't want to force you to do anything. By the way, you're an adult. You can do whatever. You don't even have to listen to me or us, and you'll be A-okay, I guess.
Anybody that is listening to this podcast, I think they want to listen to you. So I think you're good.
So thank you. So let's get now that I've just given you kind of like the what to do, let's go a little bit deeper and break down this long form content, the audio podcasts, the emails and stuff like that. And this is how it's going to make money, okay?
Okay.
So, and sorry if I get a little bit repetitive, but I realize that most people that listen to long form content or watch it, you're getting one thing from it. And so being repetitive is actually in a good way. In this way is actually
sometimes
powerful.
Some people need to hear it twice.
Right. That's how I am with taxes.
Even 3 times.
I have to learn everything 3 times with taxes.
Or
investing.
Very real.
Okay, so the long form content uploaded to YouTube and audio podcasts. I just want to stress the point to sponsor your own stuff, whether you do a voiceover or an ad read, or you casually include it. Like, if you didn't know, at the end of this month, whatever month you're watching this, I am doing a 5-day experience called the Content to Cash Challenge. It's pretty much 5 days of live coaching. I'll answer your question if you join via VIP. This is paid, but it's virtual on Zoom, and it's unlike anything else. And that link is in the description if you want to check that out. People's lives have been changed just by that 5-day experience. And so if this podcast resonates with you, I would encourage you to go check out the challenge. And if you have any questions about it, you can either DM me or put the comment in the YouTube. But that was just an ad that I just said out of the genuineness of my heart. I believe in that thing that I promote, which helps. But then here's my key. You just want to make sure you put the links in the description. And when it comes to like YouTube, your links are not clickable on YouTube. Number 1, until you verify your YouTube channel with your ID. Number 2, that you put it the right way. https:// and then put your email or your website or your URL, because then it'll be clickable. And then the third thing you need to do to get people to click your links is to pin a comment on your videos. I slept on this last year, and we're not going to sleep on it this year, but the number 1 link you want people to go to, pin that as a comment, because some people don't open up the description box.
So good.
So
most people are going to comment.
Most people are going to comment or look or read comments. What are other people saying? So they're going to see that.
Whether they're going to go hate in the comments or support, they're going to see the link.
Yep. And shout out to one of my people in my inner circle, Joe and Marty Mailing. They're handmade leather makers. They also teach it. They also coach also other people in that industry. They've been crushing with YouTube Shop or with YouTube Store. So they sell their own physical products, and when you watch a YouTube video, they're using their products and it's like right there. And so whatever platform they're using, I'm sure Shopify.
Talk about just removing all friction. They're watching a video on a wallet and the wallet's right there.
Or like everything you need for it.
Or sure.
Yeah,
yes.
To make it.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what they're selling. They're selling the supplies. And since doing this in 2023, they did about 300 kits sold. And then in 2024, they've done close to 1,000 kits sold.
Wow.
Just from using the YouTube store.
It's also weird to think that all social platforms by now have their own shop.
I know that.
Like their own version of a shop.
It's crazy.
Instagram gets me all the time.
Right. No, I mean, it's the biggest, I've heard this, that one of the biggest threats to Amazon is TikTok Shop, honestly. But then as more platforms become sophisticated at streamlining that experience, or it's as easy as clicking the ad and pressing add to cart and then buying it with maybe PayPal makes it easy or whatever. I mean, it makes the buying experience, it's the new way of buying.
Sure.
You know, you don't have to walk into a store and learn about a product. You learn about a product because it's a creator or the way they created the ad or whatever sold it. It's wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, just don't miss that opportunity on the long form stuff. When it comes to the audio thing, like this is for podcasting, this is called dynamic insertions, which you can create time sensitive ads in your podcast if the hosting site allows you to do so. I know most of them do, but if you use something like Buzzsprout, Red Circle, Spotify themselves, I think Anchor used to be what Spotify is, whatever you use, you could say, hey, I'm doing this event at this point in time, and then you can actually drop that ad from your podcast. So like, which is powerful. I wish YouTube allowed you to do this. It'd be crazy.
Video insertions. That's crazy.
Maybe at a certain level they should allow it. Because why not? Like, think about it. When I watch Theo Vaughn, he promotes his tour. When I watch Andrew Schultz, they promote their tour. And obviously that eventually will stop, but the content itself is evergreen. So they should just allow them to insert.
YouTube might get there. I mean, they've added the podcast tab and the ability to post a podcast as a podcast.
And I guess you could sell tickets to your show, and that's time sensitive. Yeah. Like using the YouTube store.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think what am I trying to say? What it's really doing is it's removing the need a website. Like, your website is the front facing platforms. Your portfolio is the front facing platforms. You showing up in this way is the new website. And what's funny is, like, I forgot who it was, and I wouldn't want to put him on blast, but yes, I know exactly who it was. Okay, it's a guy who's starting a new program for like churches, and he wants to help people in churches steward their money better and build wealth and all that stuff. And it's beautiful. But like, we're on the phone and he sends me over his brand deck. He's like, yo, check out my brand deck. And he hasn't even launched yet. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, cool, man. Great. But I knew when he said that, he was saying that the brand and the way this looks and the colors I chose is going to get people to do what I'm doing. No. You making people feel like working with you or buying your thing is going to make you do it or make them do it.
Right.
Like, a cool website doesn't make people feel like doing that. A brand does that. A YouTube video does that. Like you said, that girl's, that CPA, her video made you feel like going the next step.
Yep. And
that wasn't even a website. It was a Discord.
Yeah.
But here's this girl who's a CPA, and she didn't even send to a website. She sent you to a community.
Sure.
It's just different now. And I hope you can accept that. I apologize. Squarespace is becoming that much more irrelevant. I use Squarespace and you could still use these things, but like, you can build a 6-figure business with Google Forms and Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, even for freelancers like videographers and photographers, at some point there was no longer a need for them to have their portfolio of their work as a website. Right. It's just their Instagram account. That's my portfolio.
Because that's what's going to get people to think about using you.
Yeah.
For their wedding or something.
Yep.
They will decide on that based on what you're posting when they're not getting married.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you not prove, but like show to them, I guess with your proof, prove to them that you are trustworthy, professional. This is what you do. You're skilled. You're talented. You don't need a website, bro.
100.
You just need your bio to say like, DM me for inquiries or pricing.
Right.
That's it. So that's the audio stuff. Just just letting you know that you can dynamically insert ads, which is powerful, and link up all your stuff in the show notes.
I notice nowadays influencers, like little TikTok influencers or IG influencers, they have their email in their bio and it says this email for business inquiries.
Yeah.
And I wonder how helpful that is if it's their email.
Well, I think it's helpful for like people who do direct, like they're still like doing the direct stuff between their business and the thing. I mean, it's an open door. I've had my email on my Instagram and nobody's emailed me. But
no, I'm saying actually in their bio.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Like it says typed out.
Yeah,
not like the email button.
I know, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, people. I'm just from a consumer standpoint, that your consumers or your audience isn't going to go and
from Instagram to an email.
Yeah,
sure.
But the approach, here's the biggest difference is being an influencer versus an educator. Those are two different things. You know, and you could still, as an educator, you could say, looking for more of whatever I'm teaching. But the thing is like, I mean, you as the business owner needs to determine what that is. But if you say, just email me, I don't know how much people are going to email you. But yeah, so they're doing that for brands.
Right.
Like for brands to have an
brand
easy
deals,
reach out.
Yeah.
Which adds up when you're doing a volume of views.
You said influencers and educators are two different things.
Yeah.
Great.
Another word would be entertainers versus educators.
Just reminded me of Teresa when.
Yeah. She's like, stopped me. She's like, I am not a content creator.
I'm not a content creator or an influencer. I'm a coach that creates content.
Yeah.
You were like.
But Jerisha, I would argue you are a content creator because you like make content, you uploaded it. But I get the thinking, but and it's because it's become semantics, right? Content creator, influencer, they're intertwined, and she wants to make a clear distinction. Like, I am not an influencer. So I understand that.
Yeah, it's just like what comes first. She's a coach first.
Yeah, but she has a podcast. Does that make her a content creator?
Technically, yeah, but it came after her being a coach.
Sure. By the way, shout out to Jerisha. Fire episode. Okay, so yeah, and make sure you just link up stuff. Okay, on Instagram, these posts that you do post, again, they're clips from your long form. They could be talking head. You know what's cool? Here's something I've found. Whenever we get clips edited back from the podcast, and there's usually a lot more than I actually post, a lot of times I don't finish my thought well in the podcast, but I can go back to the drawing board and then create or, you know, map out or outline a talking head video that would deliver that idea much better. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That like by doing the long form, it gives me more more insight on more content to actually refine and create. And not everyone, you know, the reason I chose the podcast, you know, format is because I think I just work really well in a conversational manner as opposed to a showing up and I'm all alone. And, you know, so thanks for being my emotional support. And
you're welcome.
It just helps me. It helps me deliver.
I mean, clearly it did because
right.
The year of 2024 was amazing.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you just want an easy hack to showing up consistently, just include somebody in the process in any capacity. They could be there filming with you. They could be there filming with you. Like, obviously I know I'm talking 90% of this time, but Art's insight is very valuable because as you listen and watch, you're probably thinking the thing that he probably thought potentially.
Hopefully.
And it's impossible for me to do that all as just, you know, one person. But people do it. I mean, I could do it. It's just, I believe it wouldn't be as powerful or as rich. This is these Instagram posts, you know, I would just encourage you to be active in the DMs. Like when people actually DM you and comment, make sure you comment. I don't want to get too much involved with the automation side of things, but you can use platforms like ManyChat. So if you upload a piece of content on Instagram, on the bottom of it, very similar to kind of linking in bio, you could just say, comment the word, whatever. And then what happens is when people comment a specific word, you could send them a specific thing in the DM and start a conversation. So I know people that are building their email lists this way. If you ever commented on some of my reels and there was an automation and I said, I just sent it to your DMs, it wasn't actually me, it was automated, but that's ManyChat. You can look into it. As far as, I just, again, back to the post, sorry, I'm getting kind of scatterbrained. the clips from your long form, talking head tips, just stationary looking into the lens, behind the scenes content. Like, you can get somebody filming you do something, don't even talk, but you don't use the audio of that clip. You just put cool music, and then you put a thought-provoking tip, idea, observation, limiting belief. Just, you put that over the actual behind the scenes clip, and then you have a piece of content. Which let's just do that with the one with the Ryan Serhant quote.
Okay,
let's just do that.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to instead of trying to make yourself more seen, focus on becoming more great. Yee. And then the carousels, like I mentioned, which you can use Canva. Heck, you can use your smartphone notes app and just keep things in bold, screenshot it, create a square, and do that. I see Rich Wilkerson do that all the time. His team will do like a carousel post.
Yeah, people don't even technically need Canva no more.
Honestly.
Like your iPhones do a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, you can use your notes. So that's Instagram. As far as emails go, just using your content and also using conversations you have.
Mm.
If there are conversations you are having with people, think about those conversations. If you help somebody break through, if you notice why somebody's stuck, if you heard somebody be helped by your content, like there is no rules when it comes to this stuff. But if you want to speak to the masses, use conversations you have with your clients, with your prospects, with your family. I think a lot about a conversation I had with somebody at our church who came up to me and she was like, "Hey, Omar, I'm just not a social media person." And I asked her, "Why do you say that?" "Well, just because of all the tech and all that stuff, it just gets in the way. But I know I need to be doing this." Like, she's literally giving me an email. So like, when you have conversations with people, you don't realize that they're representing every other person that's in that exact same spot, that's in your community, on your list, or what have you. So that from that conversation, sometimes I do it mid-conversation, which if the context is right, I'll pull out my phone and just write down the way they said something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, just popped up in my head. I think this was Jarisha that said it, but you made her look like money because you made her, you dialed in her setup.
Yeah.
And then you were like, "Oh shoot, if you look like money, you can make money," or like something like that. And it was like,
it's just
another email that you can expand on. And
if you look like money, you'll make more money.
It was something like that.
We need to dial that in. That's a really cool. And these are just thoughts, right? So these conversations. So like hypothetically, I could send a email about that conversation. "Hey, is this you? Do you consider yourself someone who is just quote unquote not a social media person, or all the gear and the tech gets in the way of you actually creating? What if it could be this simple? What if you were a social media person? How about let's first address the fact that you need to stop identifying yourself as somebody who is not, for somebody who you really are. So by you saying you're not a social media person, you're disqualifying yourself before even trying." Like, I could just speak to that. This is just written copy, right? So I just want to encourage you with that. A free email you can drop every week is literally talking about the posts you've done, whether it's a post that you did on Instagram, or talk about the long form video you posted on YouTube. I'm not perfect. We're not perfect, but we, for the most part, send out a podcast newsletter email letting you know, like, "Hey, here's what the new podcast is about. Here are some breakdowns of what we talk about. You can watch it here, or you can listen here." So that's what email is. Like, I found that, like, and use my email as a reference. Just look at my emails and see how simple they are, how short they are, how legible they are, how simple to read. They're not intended to take up so much of your time. And in all honesty, the whole point of being consistent on sending out emails is the same reason you are consistent on every other platform, is so that your name shows up on people's screens. And they open up their mail, there you go, you see Omar. You open up your podcast, there you go, you see Omar. You open up your YouTube channel, dang, there's Omar. You open up your Instagram, there's Omar. But all of it was stemmed from really just long form YouTube content. Crazy. And then here's something I've learned from Sharon I forget his last name. He's like a
Yep.
CEO, 8-figure plus entrepreneur, maybe 9. But he says when you send an email, add what is called a super signature. And a super signature is putting, after you do your sign off, hey, I appreciate you, Omar, photo. The super signature is kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, or P.S. If you're looking to work together, here are 4 different ways we can work together. If you're looking to work together, here are 2 ways we can work together. So you put that at the very bottom, and when somebody's ready, you could say, hey, are you looking to level up your content this year? Click the link to apply for a one-on-one call. Whatever it is that you want people to do, you can put that at the very bottom of a value-based email, and that is called a super signature. And you can actually, because it's soft selling, you can do it always. But at the bottom of every single email you send out. He would say the same thing about posting on Instagram. Just always put it at the bottom. Just always have the ManyChat thing going. And he uses the word gift.
Gotcha.
Comment the word gift and I'll send you my whatever. And I know this is a lot, guys, but I hope you could see the possibility in this. I will say here's some things I wish I did more of when it came to, I forgot to mention this, by the way.
What?
Everything we accomplished in 2024 was accomplished by having the Instagram hacked for like, I'd say at least a month.
Sure.
I didn't have access to my Instagram for at least a month. And then the momentum of working back up the amount of people that were able to see my content. I mean, talk about what you would think is a brand nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Like even with my Instagram account taken down and then killing momentum like crazy. And honestly, then taking off. We took off essentially November, December. It was like a very chill November, December. All I'm saying is all that was accomplished. 7-figure. This is what I mean. Part-time. And I know you can do it too. Okay. But here's what I wish I did more of in 2024 is I wish I did more call to actions on Instagram. Just more, I think it doesn't hurt to invite people. And I think that's the difference. Like if you change because some people, I just don't want to sound salesy or whatever. If you change your frame of mind and you just invite people more often, it's less maybe overwhelming, or you're not really being salesy by saying like, sure, hey, I'm doing this thing. If this is where you're at, if this is what you're struggling with, hey, I'm doing this thing, let me know. Just DM me. Like just doing more invitation on Instagram. I think another thing I really want to crush this year with is just sharing testimonials. And even if that's like an image, like carousels, like image 5 stars, just things like that. It's more proof.
Story image, even like a video testimonial on your story.
Yep.
Yeah. Those could go nuts.
And it just what it's hard to realize, because maybe you're not doing all of this. And if you are, hit me up. I want to have you on the podcast and let me know how it's working. But if you're not doing this, just know that by you doing this, you're creating a perception that is invaluable to your brand and business. And this is a perception game. And obviously, I hope you're an integrous person. I hope you're a person of character. I hope you don't scam people into stuff. But this is why people can scam people online, is because online perception is reality. And so if you can just become the person, both become the person online, but also become the person worthy of the following, worthy of the money to be made, worthy of the value to be given. Becoming the person is really the number one priority for this to all work in your favor. One of my favorite things that people who join my inner circle, they say is, I just love your humility. I love how much you know, but also how much you talk about how much you don't know. It's like, it's crazy. They're verbalizing things that I didn't quite know I was doing until after the fact. And then you get the feedback, right? And so I would encourage you to implement this content game plan in your business and watch your life change. One of the guys that came to the workshop that we did, Chris Ward, who's also in the inner circle, he talked about how he discovered me and ended up joining my inner circle. And this could work for anything. How somebody discovers you and then, buys your product. How somebody discovers you and then uses you to consult, or how somebody discovers you and uses you to buy or sell a home, whatever it may be, right? He was like, yeah, I first found you because of the podcast you did with Myron. Sweet. So it's like, that's the one touch point. I was like, what did you do next? He's like, and then I saw a Facebook ad. I think that's what he said. I saw a Facebook ad and he's like, oh, there's Omar again. He's kind of following me around. And I just got into ads last year, very, minimally. And then he's like, and then I watched a few other your podcasts and then I followed you on Instagram. And as he was breaking it all down on how he got to the point of joining, it was 14 touch points that I didn't have to physically do, 14 touch points of content. And he ended up joining my inner circle, which for many people is a gnarly investment. And it's a gnarly investment for a reason, because the results that come from the people that are joining my inner circle are phenomenal. And so it's charging based off that value. But there was just something to say about the time spent on brand.
Yeah, you said something along the lines of, it was 14 yeses before the yes, right?
Correct.
And yeah, it's true.
And that's what we're getting people to do who join or who follow us and watch our stuff. We're getting them to just say yes to us.
And it doesn't have to be 14. That was just his experience.
Right.
Because I think the another person in your program or in your inner circle, Erica, for her, it might have been less. It might have been less yeses before she got to
she watched the tech videos I did for a little bit, so she knew of me.
Right.
And then she saw an ad, did a web class or a Zoom call that I did, joined the challenge, and then just was all in. Like she was a yes. She was a yes before I gave the offer on the challenge. So we could probably boil sales down. This is really cool. The reason you want to be consistent with your content is because all sales is a series of yeses. And if you can get somebody to say yes to you without you having to ask for it, this is why
sales on
it's automated.
Yeah, automated
sales. So that is your content game plan for 2025. If you'd like kind of direction and guidance, I would encourage you to join the Content to Cash Challenge coming up. And we do these almost pretty much monthly. If not, you can always hop on the wait list and we'll let you know when it opens up. Spots are limited. And I believe it's going to be, I know it'll be powerful for you and your business.
Yeah.
And your content journey.
Well, if this was helpful, let us know. I hope it was. And don't forget to subscribe too.
Thank you. I always forget to ask for the subscribers.
Hit 100K. 500K is going to be cool.
500K.
1 million is going to be cool.
Yeah, it'd be all super awesome. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right, guys. God bless. I hope this year is the greatest year of your life. And here's what I truly found. And now here's like real Omar coming through, because that was fake Omar the last hour and something.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just letting you know how I've experienced the greatest year of my life, year after year after year, since honestly accepting Jesus as my own personal Lord and Savior, but also the entrepreneurial journey I've started since 2016. If you want your year to be the best year, make it your best year spiritually. Focus on that area of your life and watch every other area of your life become better because of it. If you want to have the greatest year of your life, have the greatest year of your life spiritually. Now, practically, what does that look like in my opinion? The way it has looked in my life is it's looked like prioritizing daily Bible reading and prayer, locked in, plugged in, all in church community, and then being open to whatever the Lord is leading me to. Straight up. And then one sneaky one in there that I feel like is probably the most secret sauce of my success, other than those things, is submitting to authority. Now, this sounds really gnarly if you're not somebody who prioritizes your spiritual journey. But if you're looking to prioritize your spiritual journey, have people in your life that could tell you no. Have people in your life that could tell you, slow down, don't go there, go for it. The Bible says in Proverbs that there is wisdom in a multiplicity of counselors. If you don't have multiple people speaking into your life, you are a rogue bystander. I don't know what to say it, but this is how I've done it. Like I have people in my life that could say, Omar, stop. Omar, you're big-headed. Omar, way to go. Like you need somebody to speak into your life. So, I mean,
Omar, relax. That's something I say a lot.
Omar, relax. Are you one of those people?
I mean, I would hope so.
No, dude, you're not. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, happy 2025, and we'll see you in the next department episode. Or you'll hear us in the next department episode.
Yeet.
Yeet. Dang, how